First of all, I thank you on the 4th of July that you people found time between for this program. I myself was in Washington yesterday, and I have to be back in Boston because when I come here in the summer, I anchor myself at Harvard, where I have to teach 2 courses in economics. One course is on comparing India and China and economically, and the other course is on mathematical methods that are used in economics. So both these courses are required courses at Harvard in the fall and spring, and those who can't take it in the fall and spring then come to take it in the summer, which is a compressed semester. So the weekends is where I go out to address the Indian community. And I know you are all busy coming distances and then on a holiday, so I am obliged. I'm going to speak to you today about India's current political situation. Not in terms of politics, but what are the ingredients of this political situation that should concern us, and how do you rectify the situation? Any discussion about India is like describing a glass with some water in it. You can either say it's half full or half empty. People say, those who say half empty are called pessimists, and those who say it's half full are called optimists. But I think we must recognize there are many good things happening in India. And it's no use speaking to Indians about what the good things are happening, because that's not necessary for its rectification. What is to be rectified is what is not right, and what is dangerous for the country, and how it should be rectified. The political situation is constituted in many dimensions. The first dimension is corruption, the impact of corruption on the political situation. The second dimension is national unity. How national unity is impacting our or national unity, or the lack of national unity is impacting our political situation. The third is the economy. What is going wrong with the economy, and what kind of impact it will have on the political situation. And the final dimension is that of social engineering, the ferment in our society, which needs to be fixed. First of all, let me take corruption. I believe that it is a well-established fact that the scale of corruption has increased very substantially in the last 20 years. In the last 20 years, we have also moved from a planned economy to a market economy through economic reforms. So the communists are making propaganda that because you moved from socialist economy to a capitalist economy, that is why there is corruption. That, of course, is silly, because it's like saying that in the United States the number of Christians and the production of shoes is positively correlated. So if you stop the production of shoes, the number of Christians will also go down. That's a nonsense correlation, because if the number of Christians go up, it's because the population of America is going up. And if the population of America is going up, the demand for shoes will also go up. So those who teach statistics amongst you know that this is called nonsense correlation. What has happened is that the opportunities for corruption during the socialist period, when we adopted the Soviet model, was limited to government licenses and quotas. And now, and the number of industries were very limited. We had come out of independence, and the socialist regulation licensing system was such, it wasn't permitting industries to come up automatically. It had not deregulated. It was not a deregulated economy. After the economic reforms, for which the truth is that the blueprint for the economic reforms was prepared by me when I was Commerce Minister, and I was subsequently also held a ministerial rank position in Narasimha Rao's government. And Mr. Narasimha Rao deserves the credit for having ensured that these reforms are implemented. But the media gives all the credit to Manmohan Singh and not to Narasimha Rao, and certainly not to me. And that's because Sonia Gandhi never liked Narasimha Rao, and therefore she didn't want the credit to go to him at all. And of course she liked me even less, so not at all. So therefore the media management has been so tremendous that Manmohan Singh has got all the credit. And Manmohan Singh, if he was as a finance minister so powerful to bring about these economic reforms, why is Prime Minister is not able to bring any reform at all? That is a question that itself answers why it is not Manmohan Singh. And to the credit of Manmohan Singh, I'll say that he himself has publicly said that the blueprints were prepared by Swamy and Narasimha Rao implemented it. But the country has given me the credit, and I'm grateful for that. He has gone on record to say that. Now, I'm coming back to this question that because of economic reforms, our growth rate rose from 3.5% per year GDP, which was the period of 30 years, 1950 to 40 years, 1950 to 1990. We were growing at about 4% per year, which is a low figure, which the communists, to hide their shame that the Soviet model had failed, had described it as the Hindu rate of growth. It had nothing to do with the Hindu rate of growth. It was in fact the Soviet rate of growth. And this 4% then has now transformed to, in the last 5-6 years, we have been growing at 9% per year. After Narasimha Rao brought in economic reforms, the first 5 years we achieved a 7% growth rate. 7 to 7.5% growth rate. So this growth rate created a huge new mushrooming of industries, opportunities. The software industry came up in that period, and so on. And therefore the opportunities to do gigantic corruption also increased. And it is the opportunity not because there is deregulation, but because there are more places to do corruption. That was that. I define corruption as misuse of public office for private gain. You can't have everything as corruption. The congressmen are saying that Ramdev is engaging in taking black money, and therefore who is he to talk about corruption? Now, Ramdev takes Dakshina. How is he going to look at the currency note and say this is black money? There is no distinction between white money and black money while looking at the currency. Unless, of course, it's ISI printed money, then of course you can say. But how, even that is very difficult to find out. Taxi, and I pay the taxi driver in cash. Is the taxi driver also corrupt because he took my money? So I think there is some requirement for clarity in our mind as to what is corruption. Corruption is the misuse of public office for private gain. Private gain for yourself, private gain for somebody else, or private gain for your relatives. Somewhere there should be a private gain by misusing your public office. And when you misuse your public office, you are making a decision which is below the merit. Merit is being sacrificed. On merit, you will get it without corruption. It is only because the person who is not meritorious, he wants it. And he therefore wants the minister or the public official to bypass the decision-making process and give it to him in return for money. And that money is black. It has to be paid in cash, or it has to be deposited in a bank account abroad, or you pay him in cash and then through the hawala, it is deposited abroad. Today we are supposed to have $500 billion at least. Some people estimate it as $2 trillion. $500 billion at least in foreign banks. And bulk of it in Switzerland. Switzerland has officially declared that the biggest holders of secret bank accounts, or what is called as numbered bank accounts, are Indians. And I had a student at Harvard who became the chairman of one of the banks. I won't name the bank and identify him. But he told me that if Indians didn't open accounts in Switzerland, then we will become bankrupt. So I said, how? He said, because these Indians are so insecure that they don't even mention the beneficiary very often. And so when they die, that account becomes ours. And we have got billions of dollars of unclaimed accounts. And we have a rule that if for 7 years you don't claim an account, then it becomes ours. So, India is supposed to be a poor country. And you find that all this money is being deposited abroad. So, that is what Ramdev and Anna Hazare to some extent have been demanding, that money should come back. And there is a way to bring it back. And that is, the government should issue a law through an ordinance, because then the ordinance is immediate, saying that all bank accounts of Indian citizens which are in foreign banks abroad in numbered accounts, they are henceforth nationalized. Under the new UN Security Council resolution and laws passed by several countries including Switzerland, that is permitted. Switzerland has made one more additional law that if there is a politically empowered person's account, then you don't even have to take out this. You just have to mention that this person is a publicly empowered person, PEP as it's called, and therefore please freeze his account till we decide. Even when you take out the ordinance, you can put in a rider that if anybody innocently has legitimately, legally opened an account and legally deposited money, then we will return that account, provided he proves that all the deposits in that account are legally valid. So you can get it back. The government is refusing. The government is so afraid that even Liechtenstein, what happened is the Germans found that many Germans were stashing away money in Liechtenstein. Liechtenstein is a small, I don't know how many of you have been to Liechtenstein. Most Indians go there only to open bank accounts, so don't identify yourself. So Liechtenstein is a small country in Europe, and it has what is called as a bank. It's called a tax haven. No taxes, deposit money in numbered accounts, and so the Germans said we can't tolerate this. So what they did, the German intelligence service, they went and bribed a very senior official of the bank and said, we'll give you $15 million provided you give us a CD of all the accounts which are in numbered accounts by name, nationality, details.
Sorry, what is numbered account?
Numbered account is that your name doesn't come in the picture. Name comes in the document which the bank keeps. but when you operate it, you don't give your name. You just give the number and the password. That's called a numbered account. So the Germans bribed a senior official and got the CD. Then they downloaded the CD and they found that many countries' nationals had accounts there. So they separated them by country and wrote to all the countries that we have got now the accounts of your nationals. If you want a copy of the list of persons and their bank details, we will supply to you. India was the only country which did not reply to this letter to say, yes, please send us. But there was a furor in the country. I also wrote a letter to the Prime Minister threatening him, which is published in my new book called Corruption and Corporate Governance in India. And I threatened him saying that, I'll have to go to court. Now already the Prime Minister had been humiliated and brutalized by my case on 2G, where he was asked to file an affidavit, which in the history of the world, never a Prime Minister has been asked to file an affidavit. That means, the Prime Minister's not prima facie being believed by the court when he says that he replied to all my letters. We had not replied to all my letters. In fact, he replied to none of my letters on Raja. But anyway, the Prime Minister then wrote a letter and the names were sent. 16 names were sent. Then we asked them to make it public because these are criminals. The government refused. So a court case was filed by Lingdo and quite a few people, and amongst them one of the people who signed was Jethmalani. I refused to sign because if Jethmalani is there, I don't know when he will make a deal and buzz off. So I refused to sign to be a petitioner. But there were 8-9 people. Newspapers only highlight the name of Jethmalani. But and Jethmalani, by the way, was with Sonia Gandhi for about 3 years. He was a nominee as a Rajya Sabha member. I think he has been to more parties than been a member of more parties than anybody, and his name belongs properly in the Guinness Book. Give us the names. The Pranab Mukherjee told a lie, some double taxation, all rubbish. This has got nothing to do with Liechtenstein and India. This is a case of the German government getting by informal methods, if I may use a euphemism, the names and ready to give it to governments. All other governments have made it public. But only India, so it won't make public. The court asked many times. Then they said, okay, we are going on vacation. We are reassembling on Monday, which is today. Of course, now in India, the time must be about 10 o'clock in the night. You see, so 4th is already over. So first day of court, the court has got so disgusted, they have appointed a special investigating team, an SIT, with one of the most aggressive judges we have had in the past. Is retired, Justice Jeevan Reddy, to head it, to find out what is all this black money about. Why is the government afraid? Because prominent politicians' names are in it. Government is afraid of Hassan Ali being prosecuted because Hassan Ali was a scrap collector. He used to collect scrap, put it together, and then select the necessary scrap which can be put together and sell it. That was his. But when the income tax raided his house, they found he had an account of $8 billion in it. So why? How is that possible? That's possible because he must have been a Benami. How he can be a Benami for $8 billion? Why didn't they run away with it? Because he opens the account, but the password belongs to the person who really owns the money. According to me, Hassan Ali is a front for Sonia Gandhi. And therefore, His password is with Sonia Gandhi and name is of Hasan Ali. And he is living in fear of that he may die. After all, Raja also, I told him better go to jail quickly, otherwise you will die like Sadiq Basha and all the other people connected with you have been suddenly dying. So, therefore, the method of getting this is available. Why I am emphasizing on corruption so much is, corruption affects our society in a number of ways. First of all, by foregoing merit, all the dregs of society come up. All the dregs of society come up. Then, second thing is, all this black money that is available, what do? They give it for hoarding. So, vegetables are coming to the market, sugar is coming to the market, milk is coming to the market. Government has now introduced a new legislation for forward trading. So, black money is used to hoard all these things. So the prices go up. Middle class is all the time screaming, oh, prices have gone up. Why prices have gone up? Your growth rate is 9%. So much production is taking place. When your income is growing at 9% and your production is growing at 9%, why shouldn't there be inflation of 16% per year? It is because of hoarding. And hoarding is possible because of black money. So first effect is that. Second, with the black money, they buy all luxury goods, they buy air conditioners, they go to 5-star hotels and all. And the rate of return on the luxury goods industry starts going up. So investors say, why invest? Why not? Why invest in producing cloth for the common man, for goods for the common man? Let us go and set up an air conditioning factory, open new hotels, 5-star hotels, that too, not ordinary hotels, 5-star, 7-star, all these hotels. So 5-star hotels are all the time full in India. Even when there is economic depression, it was full. Or go into real estate, and real estate prices are shooting up. Can you get a flat now for less than 25 lakhs in the suburb of Bombay? No, because of this availability of black money. So black money affects all of us by inflation. Then this black money, some of it is, a good part of it, about 30-40% of the black money, is deposited in foreign countries. How? By hawala. Who is doing the hawala? Unfortunately, mostly those who are doing it are Muslims. And these Muslims have connections with ISI, because ISI will not allow you to function unless you give them a cut. So when a politician tells a hawala operator, put my money in Switzerland, the hawala operator will inform the ISI also that, I am doing Mr. So-and-so's hawala operation. This Sadiq Basha, he was a hawala operator for Raja. And because he felt let down, they were afraid he might speak up. And if he speaks up, then everybody will be in trouble. So that's why he was killed. Probably somebody from Dubai came and killed him. So, hawala operators will inform ISI. ISI will blackmail our politicians. Look at the political situation. We have politicians being blackmailed by ISI. We can defeat Pakistan on the Maidan, but we will lose it on the table because of this blackmail. So this is another impact of corruption. Then Chidambaram once and Sonia Gandhi had a conversation which somebody reported to me, in which Sonia Gandhi said, we put all this money in Switzerland and Switzerland doesn't give us interest on the deposit, because Switzerland's rule is that you pay a service charge if you want to put your money in a numbered account. So you have to put the money there and pay Switzerland service charge. So that money is going on contracting because the service charge is eating into what you have put in. So they invented something called participatory note. No newspaper dare publish anything about participatory note. because the government will then take it out on the owner, maybe have an income tax rate or something. What is this participatory note? You take cash to US Fidelity Investment, or you take cash to Morgan Stanley and put it there on their counter and say, please give me a participatory note. There is no participatory note in use anywhere in the world except India. So they'll give you a piece of paper with the amount written only. No serial number, nothing. But of course it will be in a fancy piece of paper. And you take that paper and go to India and give it to an investment broker and say, buy stocks. He will buy the stocks because the demand for stocks is going up with the infusion of money from abroad. Therefore, the stock market goes up. Then he says, sell. After he sells, he gets the money in rupees. And then you go to the Reserve Bank and show that I gave participatory note. So whatever money I earned has to be given to me in dollars. Chidambaram has passed a law saying that any proceeds of transactions out of participatory notes will be convertible immediately to dollars. So take the dollars and go out. And again buy a participatory note. What about capital gains tax? Well, for that also Mr. Chidambaram thought of some new way. He said that if you go to Mauritius and set up a $1 paid up capital company and bring that company to invest in India, then whatever capital gains is there will not be taxed. You and I will pay 25%. But Mauritius company will pay 0. Today, if you look at the statistics, the country which is providing the largest amount of foreign investment in India is Mauritius, more than United States and Europe, and Japan. Now tell me why Mauritius should be number one? I don't know how many of you have been to Mauritius. There's nothing there except beaches. How is it possible for Mauritius, a country which can't even afford building proper infrastructure in their own country, provide so much money to India for foreign investment? It's all Indian money going. It's called round tripping, coming there for this purpose. So the stock market today is out of control. Anytime it will go up, anytime it will come crashing down. And the middle class is losing money. So these are the multivariate effects of corruption. And corruption is also now leading to a situation where foreigners are coming to get control of our country. Take what happened in 2G spectrum. Became applicants for spectrum license. Raja manipulated with Chidambaram for them to get the license by using some first come first serve, all that. Raja also said, along with Chidambaram, both have signed, that the price which will be charged for the spectrum will be 2001 price. When the price in 2008 when the license was given was 10 times that. Because in 2001 how many mobile phones we had? 4 crores. How many mobile phones we have in 2008? 70 crores. So there is a very profitable market. So therefore people are ready to pay more. They were ready to pay 10 times more. But Chidambaram and Raja decided that only this 2001 price will be charged. So these two companies bought 2001 price. Then what did they do? They said we don't have telecom towers, we don't have anything. So let's sell the license. So they sold it to Etisalat. Swan sold it to Etisalat in Dubai. And Unitech, another real estate company, sold it to Telenor. But there is a Home Ministry advisory that Etisalat is an ISI front company. And its India managing director, Shahid Balwas, who is now in jail, he is Dawood Ibrahim's man. So therefore it will help Pakistani agents to come to India in the name of building towers. Can't allow it. So, similarly Telenor, They say they buy equipment from Chinese military, and that equipment can be also used for cyber warfare. And if there is a fight between India and China, all our computers will go top. So, therefore, we have a situation where national security is being sacrificed. Of course, Etisalat and Telenor paid these two companies 8 times what they paid the government of India. And therefore the loss is estimated at 1,76,000 crores, which has 11 zeros. So many zeros nobody has ever seen before. And out of that, 60,000 crores was paid by bribe, of which Raja got only 5,000 crores. Chidambaram got another 5,000 crores. The remaining 50,000, Sonia Gandhi and her sister got 36,000 crores. And 15,000 crores went to Karunanidhi. 60% of 60,000 crores is 36,000 crores went to Sonia Gandhi. So Raja, of course, got only 5,000, but 5,000 crores is not a joke, no. In fact, Raja used to come to DMK headquarters in Chennai 15 years ago on a cycle. Now, of course now he's in jail, so it's but when he was minister and had got all this bribe, his clothes had changed, they were all brought from Paris and all that. And he was going around in BMWs and buying houses left and right. So, this corruption was done because they were agreeing, they manipulated to give to 2 unqualified companies. Those 2 unqualified companies sold to foreign companies whom the Home Ministry said that these 2 companies should not be allowed into India. And yet Chidambaram told Raja, no, you can do it. Because Chidambaram was going to get 5,000 crores also. So national security is being sacrificed. I have filed a petition Supreme Court saying cancel all the licenses. Court heard me and they have reserved judgment. Now court is again assembling on 6th on my case. I don't know whether they'll give the judgment or not. But now Raja is in, Kanimozhi is in, lots of business executives are in. Soon Chidambaram will also go in. Then if Raja is in, then Rani must also go. So there is a Rani in Delhi who has to go. So sooner or later we'll get her also. But we have to get her, otherwise look at this. There is total breakdown today. There is no patriotism left. We are being taken over by foreigners, foreign companies, because some politicians want a bribe. It's not anymore my giving money to another politician and politician wanting it for elections. It is now, anything can go in Tamil Nadu election. Much of the money that was given by Aragiri in Madurai were ISI printed notes. They were not. How anyone is going to be able to detect it? Supposing tomorrow I give you a 1,000 rupee note, how will you be able to know whether it's printed by ISI or printed by our government mint? Because Chidambaram there also has done corruption. Like he's done now in CWG. Manishankar Iyer has made that accusation today. Because what happens is that we are not able to produce the currency paper. And we buy it from England. From a company called De La Rue. And that company which sells us the currency paper with the watermark and all that, that same company sells to Pakistan also. So it's very easy for Pakistan to buy some extra currency paper and then print Indian notes and through Nepal bring it into India. So that's why ISI today, I would say 30% of our money, 13% of our money supply is today from his ISI printed notes. We have lost control of our money supply also. So now, before I go on to some other issues, let me say, why is this happening? This is because we have become single-mindedly materialistic. And this is not Hindu tradition. When I say Hindu, I am willing to include all those Muslims and Christians who proudly acknowledge that their ancestors are Hindus. And their ancestors are Hindus because DNA testing has been done on all Indians. And now research analysis shows that we all Indians are of the same DNA. We may be of different color, but that is because of pigmentation. Michael Jackson, you see, was a black African, Afro-American. One day went to the plastic surgeon and said, take out my pigmentation. And he became a white man. So color of skin got nothing to do with race. Race is determined by DNA. And DNA, we are all the same. So I say to you that we are learning and sacrifice are the highest values in society. You can make money, but your social status will not be determined by money. That is why when Rishi Bhrigu and Bhardwaj sat together and said, what kind of society should we have? Bhrigu said, there are 4 sources of power: money, weapon, learning, or I should start with learning, weapon, money, land. These 4 should not be any one, not more than one should be in the hand of one person. So those who have learning, they will not have wealth, they will not have weapons, they will not have land. And they will enjoy the highest social status in society, and they will be called Brahmins. Brahmins are not by birth. It is if you follow this discipline, that I will pursue learning, I will not pursue wealth, I will not keep weapons, and I will not acquire land. If you say that, then you are a Brahmin. Otherwise, what is the distinction when you are all the same DNA? How can you make a distinction? The Englishmen tried to make out there is some racial difference. And Karunanidhi and company swallowed that theory about Aryans and Dravidians. Karunanidhi thought all Aryans are Brahmins. And I pointed out to him that Ramchandraji was a Kshatriya, he couldn't understand. He used to worship for many years Ravan, but Ravan was a Brahmin. Does anybody know that? Yeah, Ravan was a Brahmin. He was a Samaveda Pandit. Of course, now Karunanidhi does not criticize, does not worship Ravana anymore. But he abuses Rama. That also he will learn the hard way. Once he criticized me for saying in Supreme Court that Rama Setu, he says, how he can call it Rama Setu? How Subramanian Swamy is saying Rama Setu? Did Rama build it? Is Rama an engineer? Does he have an engineering degree? Next day he fell ill and he was admitted to Ramchandra Medical Hospital. So I wrote him a letter saying, at least got MBBS Rama. Otherwise, how you have Ramchandra Medical College? Anyway, so this was the original idea. Then Kshatriya. He had weapons, could run a big king, but he can't make policy on whether to go to war or not, whether to give capital punishment for an offense or not. Monarchs in other countries could do that, but not in India. He had to consult the Brahmin, and the Brahmin agreed. I mean, he had to go by his advice. You could make money, that was called the Vaishya caste. But money will not give you social status. Those who have land must produce for the land. Those who have money should engage in philanthropy, should give for society, should give for education. was given for institutional building. So like that, this whole thing was devised. There was a provision for what is called the untouchable. But their children were not untouchable. Valmiki parents were Dalits. But Valmiki was a Maharishi. Vedavyasa's mother was a fisherwoman. Kalidasa's was a hunter. Vishwamitra was considered Rishi of Rishis. His parents were Kshatriyas. So it got nothing to do with birth. Unfortunately, it's got associated with birth. Today somebody says, I'm a Brahmin, but he's executive director of Bata Shoe Company. No, that's not the job of a Brahmin. And there was no higher job and lower job. All jobs were equal. Dignity of labor. So I say, what does it mean? This thought first occurred to me when I came here as a student to get a PhD at Harvard. My classmate asked me, how can you Indians accept Mahatma Gandhi as your leader? I said, why? Americans will not accept such a leader. He said, Americans? If Mahatma Gandhi was an American, we would have put him in jail for indecent exposure. Why? Since he is only wearing one cloth, how he can be leader? In our country, a leader has to be got suit, boot and all that. And he must be very well dressed, otherwise he will not be leader. Then the thought occurred to me, yes, millions are following Mahatma Gandhi, but he has got only one langoti. That is Sanatana Dharma. A man who gives up all these material wants, material trappings for wealth and so on, property, he is venerated. That we have losing. So materialism has come. Now in Indian society, who has the biggest wedding? He has the most social status. I don't know, in America also NRIs are like that. Big, big weddings. Plan, throw money. And they will say, oh, Ari, you know what a lucky fellow. He came as a coolie. And now he is a crorepati. So that became social status. And when money becomes... I get telephone calls. Please come and tell us about how to have mental peace. So this is the main strength. The other problems are all a consequence of corruption. Today, we are disrupting our social system by insisting reservations for all and sundry. I was told by one of you that St. Stephen's College, which has been long established and gets very sizable government grants, that although the population of Christians is only 3%, 60% of the admissions are reserved for Christians. And a Hindu boy went with 90% marks, could not get in, but a Christian boy with 70% got in. So the pressure is growing on him. The boy is saying, I will convert to Christianity and join St. Stephen's. In Kerala, unfortunately, for them I stopped it. There was a proposal brought in that there will be Islamic banks which will give loans at zero interest. I knew that such a bank is a trick. How can you give zero interest and make the bank function? There must be some other way by which you are getting the money. And there is a way. But it is against our secularism. What do you mean by Islamic bank? The Reserve Bank Act is there, which prescribes what are the minimum conditions. That includes charging interest. This is part of our law. But the idea was that the Islamic bank will be set up, and if some Muslim boy goes and asks for a loan, he'll get a loan without interest. But Hindu boy goes, they will say this technicality, that technicality. But privately they will telephone him and tell him, if you become Muslim, we'll give you a loan. There's so much unemployment in Kerala. And Hindus now only 52% crop. The pressure is enormous to convert. So this social engineering is being upset by that, and then they want to bring reservations for Muslims and Christians. Why? Because they are poor. But are Brahmins not poor? Are Kshatriyas not poor? In my opinion, anybody who has been ruling class in India, if he is poor, he should get scholarship, he should get tuition, but he should not get reservation. Muslims and Christians have been ruling classes, one for 800 years and the other for 200 years. How they can get reservation? So all these things put together, we have to now seriously consider what is going to happen to our country. And that is why I say the cure is that Hindus and those other who are ready to acknowledge that their ancestors are Hindus, they should come together as one and bring into power a government which will be faithful to them. And therefore, the main problem of the country is corruption, which has destabilized our political system completely. And the main cure is Hindutva or Sanatana Dharma, whichever term you like to use. Hindutva only means Hinduness. But generally, they are making all Hindu terror, this, that, they are trying to defame. All the sadhus are in trouble. That's why Asaram Bapu has said, Gandhi said all foreigners should leave India, so Sonia Gandhi, please leave India. He said it yesterday. Baba Ramdev has said the same thing. And Anna Hazare also said, Prime Minister is okay, but he is remote controlled. So a new atmosphere is growing. And I hope, therefore, all of us go back. All of us will now think of ourselves as Indian, which means followers of Sanatana Dharma, or followers or descendants of those who followed Sanatana Dharma. If you think you are descended from Gori and Ghazni, please go to Pakistan. You don't belong in India. You have to be very clear in your mind. Because Pakistan was created for those Muslims who said we can't live with the Indians, with Hindus. So therefore India was carved out and Pakistan was created. You can't live here now and say, I am a descendant of Gori and Ghazni. If you think like that, please go to Pakistan. So this way, we can reconstruct our society. This is what I wanted to say. Thank you very much. Have a good lunch.